everybody. We're going to do an little version today of this week's edition for my little YouTube channel. The episode I put up yesterday was a little bit longer, more detailed, and frankly went to Facebook. So you would have to be an actual Facebook friend of mine to have permission to view it. There is a link to it, though, on the YouTube channel in the comments from last week's episode if you were interested, but it's a little longer. Anyways, this week's edition is actually about the true story behind the film Bring It On. I actually created the original script and didn't get paid for it. I went through a long phase in my life where I was actually labor trafficked. Lyrics, songs, voice, likeness, even likeness of my body, actual pictures of my body, choreography, books, all stolen and used, never paid for. So I have no idea what the federal government's going to be doing with it in the end, and please don't bother asking because it's actually none of your business, and it's called federal witness tampering and tampering with federal evidence, so don't bother. Anyways, so here's the story behind the movie. When I was growing up in Wisconsin, I actually ended up going to a lovely school called Parker High School, but it was nicknamed Cowpie High because all the farmers went there, and we had an excellent choir teacher who came to work with us called Mr. Bowman. And he was actually American and Ukrainian. So he was actually man of Ukrainian descent living in the U.S. and full U.S. citizen. But we ended up, under him, I was in the a cappella choir, jazz choir, performed and sang year after year, received great training and excellent voice training as well in music. So, and everything we did was live. And he was very big on that. He hated lip syncing, and he taught us all a lot about the industry, even though most of us weren't really planning to actually work in the entertainment industry or have anything to do with it, because he wanted us to know. Meanwhile, a man came over from Milton High School who was named Mr. Bergram, and he ended up taking over the theater department and actually then, sadly enough, began stealing routines from our school and took them over to Milton High School and gave it to their jazz choir. As a result, I ended up actually going one day to the Janesville Mall where the Milton High School jazz group was performing, and they were lip syncing and they were performing moves and styles from performances that people I'd worked with in the choirs that I had actually been in had done. So they had stolen material outright. Mr. Bergman had given it to them. And I literally stood there and I confronted them. And it didn't get ugly because when the sound guy saw what was happening and shut it off. So in other words, mall security said, you know what? This is really obvious lip syncing and it's way too weird, and they shut off. And actually some people from the town confronted them about it. So it was a really weird situation where this choir was supposed to be performing, and they thought they were so great, and they were supposed to be this professional choir, and they were lip syncers. By the way, Mr. Bergam ended up going on, just so you know, he did have some interference with my time at Luther, and unfortunately, because of when I went to Luther College, so the trafficking was set up there, he was also a graduate of Luther College, just so you know. As far as the movie Bring It On, I ended up translating it all over and making it into, so you had the cheerleading squad was the Clovers, which represent Parker High School, and the image being changed to an Irish symbol because I have some Irish heritage, just a little bit. And then also, it's a fun symbol. And then the Toros were obviously supposed to be Milton High School, and the whole thing got changed to a cheerleading competition, which of course ends with the finals and doesn't totally sync up. Anyways, with the actual story, because in the actual story, Milton High School never got over their immoral conduct, and we're just angry to have been caught and exposed. And it ended up turning into a larger federal investigation because someone from Milton High School actually showed up when I was in the DC area. I was there for 19 years during investigations, threw temper tantrums, and didn't want me to be part of the congressional chorus. He said he could be a part of it, but I couldn't. So I ended up never joining the congressional chorus over it, which caused other people who actually lived in the area to question the congressional chorus, because why would a man like that, who was so clearly tied to what turned out to later to be Russian activity in Milton, which is where the lip syncing came from, because Mr. Bergen turned out to be a Russian-American man who was actually just coming over to Parker to fight with a Ukrainian man. And, I say all this because I ended up turning into a plot of a film. Oprah, we did contact Oprah, actually. She didn't respond to us or help us out. Instead of the cheerleading finals at the end, Mr. Roman ended up putting together this lovely performance that went on for at least 2 years, maybe 3 years, every year in the spring, where we would actually sell out a huge stadium and we would perform. And I performed as a solo act, at least that was my senior year. I did not perform in the final spring musical because of Mr. Bergram's behavior and his attitudes towards the other students, and the fact that He was so, I don't know what you want to call that kind of a person. I think that's a really criminal person that would take advantage of people under the age of 18, steal material. And frankly, he was making money off of it. And I know that he did eventually lose his job at Parker because of it. But I also know another man who is an actual professional and has worked in Hollywood also did not take part in the spring musical because of it. And he ended up going to UW Whitewater. Unfortunately, I was forced to go to Luther College because of the situation I was stuck in. Otherwise, I would have gone to UW Whitewater, and it probably would have been a much better experience for me. And believe me, these things do play out. They have played out in the Farrell case. Paul Ryan was Speaker of the U.S. House. He's from Janesville, Wisconsin. He attended Craig High School. If you don't think that Janesville came together on that issue and what was happening with Milton High School and the Russian activity there, that also seemed to have a magical lineup with the lip syncing, you'd be wrong. It totally lined up. Now, after this, I'm going to do a little dance class, and we're going to go through some motions because I have not been paid for my choreography work. And I'm going to show you a 3 key gestures just for YouTube, little YouTube dance class. So here we go. And I just want to add for this, whatever I feature in these shows, these little mini shows, it's all rights reserved. Also, I don't recommend going dancing these days. There's a lot of problems with crimes. Probably until it's going to be years before you're going to want to go out dancing, frankly. And I don't recommend trying to have dance-offs like people used to have in the early 2000s. I did those in the DC area, and I actually won in a number of them. But it's really, don't. This is not a good time to be going out partying. Stay home, stay safe, take care of your health. Dance class. We're going to start with the basics of ballet. This is first position. Do a plie. You have second position is a little bit wider. Plie. And then you have third position. Plie. Fourth position, interesting extension of third feet, bring it out. Plie. Crossed. Fourth. And then finally fifth. And plie. As you can see, I have ballet feet. Now, one reference that you'll see in the movie, and one character I set up that was actually based off of Mr. Burnham, but I lied and said it was based off of Mr. Bowman when I pushed that script on through in Hollywood because the person who was taking the script from me and not paying for it was Russian is something called Fingers. They didn't like Mr. Bowman. He actually developed a reputation in Hollywood for educating students and training them and teaching them how to protect themselves, or at least training them in the idea that they had rights, that artists have rights. So this is called Spirit Fingers. They look ugly, they're weird, and they're gross. Don't ever do them. They're gross. Spirit Fingers. Don't do them ever. Jazz hands. Right? Like this. Like this. Fantastic. From the old minstrel shows in the 1920s. Always look fantastic. Okay? They're very sharp. They don't look gross. This is disgusting. Don't do it. This is disgusting. Don't ever do it. I'm going to show you how to present. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you know, you've seen this dance move recently. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a show. All over the world. Didn't get paid for it. Show you from the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's literally 1, 2, 3 forward, 1, 2, 3, 4 back. If you do it in a group, everything has to be in sync and lined up. Got it? Here's another one. It's called the jazz track back, but it is actually a move that I invented. The last ones were from old dance moves, but you put the arms up and you go like this. Get it? So it's just basically real quick moves back and forth. I kind of show didn't get paid for it. Here's another one. You get the old Britney Spears move. You go like this. Right? Remember this? Britney Spears crazy video. She does it real slow, looks at the camera. Looks a little weird, but she stares at it too long. I love Britney Spears, by the way. But she was really put through some things. Let's just be honest. So I did redid it. Looks a little different. One like this. Do. But you're gonna line up all the dancers with you, and everyone has to do it at the same time. And it has to be all together and sharp. And then here's another one I put together, and I know you've seen this one. It's literally the one where they go like this, right? They're shaking everything up here. It's a lot of this, right? And then this, right? You know you've been seeing a girl group doing that performance. Move, didn't get paid for it. But you can go through the rest of the moves and everything else that I've been never paid for another day. I don't really have time to keep going through this. But I did want to make a little bit of a better, short film for YouTube this week so that you all don't get left out, because the longer, more in-depth version with real emotion this week went into the post that's actually on Facebook. It might really be more interesting for the people at DOJ. So anyways, I gotta get going. Have a good day. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe. Protect your health. Protect you. And be positive.